The end of vanilla World of Warcraft. For years this version of Azeroth has tested us, for grinds, for raids, for PvP, and all the chaos in between. But now we're standing on the edge of something new. The final patch is here. Before the Burning Crusade changes everything, there's one question left. How far can we get as level 60 in the final days of vanilla? From scrub to stud. Let's find out.
We're starting episode 4 where I've just picked up Frostbite, and that's a new weapon upgrade. So we're rocking Frostbite in the main hand. And while I was near, I was thinking I really need to finish that quest off and get the trinket from the end of UBRS. So I'll start looking for a group and get convinced the tank. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of what happened. So I'm going to head over now, jump on the flight path. And as I'm on the flight path, I'm going through all the loot, kind of having a look of what I need, and I'm still looking on the sod setting of Atlas loot. So I'm even dumber than I thought. I'm landing Badlands. Straight into LBRS, and this is where the fun begins. I should never have tanked this. I cannot tank, I can't hold aggro, and here's a little montage of what happens. First death here. Didn't realise we had to kick them mobs, so they're very strong, so we run back in again, and I'm just asking for a second, so we run back in, run across the bridge, getting a bit deeper inside the dungeon. Again, these casters are ruthless. I've got decent, like, block gear and defense gear, but the casters are absolutely ruthless. Now here I am pulling this pack, and I think that cockroach pulls this extra pack. Nice freeze here behind the mage, but again I just can't hold the aggro. I'm dying again, so that's 2 deaths down. Let's go back again. Yay. So we keep getting deeper and deeper, at least with the pulls we're doing. So we end up pulling this trash pack here. Other pulls, all the ads pull. I'm not sure again how it happens, and yeah, as you can guess, it doesn't go well again. So I think that's the 3rd or 4th time I died in this dungeon so far tanking. Now I can't tell if it's me, if I'm genuinely bad. So we're on another run back again, and it's a long run each time. So after I'm resurrected, I head up the ramp into the next room, pull the casters and kite them back in order to try and get some line of sight, but the healer runs up and the aggro onto him straight away, and we just do the most horrific pull ever. Everyone's fighting in the hallway, I'm trying to loss them and I've given up, and we're just doing another great pull. Everyone decides to fight in the hallway, no one CCs, and we wipe once more. All the mages are really low health, but there's nothing I can do and I die. And I'm just saying, guys, I'm trying to kite them round the wall and you're all fighting them. Like, please, I'm already struggling as it is. I said, how am I ever going to tank them? Eventually we get through to the end, towards the final boss, Wormfolek, who's needed for Warlord's command. Are we going to wipe on this guy? Surely we're not going to. I charge in. Luckily the Overlord is no problem and we take him down with relative ease. Once he's dead, he drops the quest item, and I pick that up, and then it's straight over to Kargath in order to hand that in. The quest rewards aren't great on this quest, but it's the next quest we're interested in. We must head to Eitrig in Orgrimmar.
We take a portal to Orgrimmar and speak to Eitrig, where he gives us a follow-up quest to speak to Thrall. We complete the quest and grab the follow-up for the Horde, get the head of Ren Blackhand. And of course, that gives us a big trinket. So, it's back to UBRS again. Again, we're still after the True Strike shoulders from Ember Seeker, so we're going to have a go. And obviously, they don't drop again. When are we going to get them? Next we head to Rend, and this time of course the Eye of Rend drops. Typical since we got ours. But we of course do get his head, which allows us to get the crit trinket. And finally on to Drakasaf once more. Nothing we really need from him anymore, but that's us done here. Let's head back to Thrall. And finally, after multiple runs forgetting what we're doing, we're finally going to get it, Black Hand's Breath, and with that we complete the quest and achieve the trinket. A few days later, and after the reset, I log in with the title First Sergeant and head over to Zul'Gurub for another run, still looking for them key items. Let's see if we've got any luck.
We start with Jellic as normal like last time, and he drops the Crusher and the Sash. Had nothing great for me and nothing on the hard reserve list. Next we're on to Venaxis, and he actually drops a cloak which would be useful, but it was reserved by Chris. We're back up to Marlil now, just a bit further, doing a bit of Poison Bolt AoE volley on us. And what's he going to drop? Cast a loot, and it's all soft reserved anyway. On to the Raptor boss now. Will we get the mount? I doubt it, but let's have a look. And we've got the idols and a bow. On to the Tiger mount now. Oh, the Zulian Slicer. That's a nice weapon. On to the Panther boss. We're zerking her down. She dropped a few nice epics. Again, nothing for me. And it's on to Jindu the Hexer now. And he's going to drop some items that are actually hard reserved and be useful for the guild. And finally onto Hakar. Utdod brain farted. Caster belts dropped and nothing for melee, so nothing again this week. It's going to be tough. Everyone's playing warrior and I'm so late to the party, so let's see where we head next. After the Zul'Gurub, we were going to do AQ20, and I'm just realising here I haven't even got the flight path, so I have to run to Ungoro Crater and then run to Silithus to grab the flight path. And if that wasn't bad enough, I completely forget to record the raid. Just remember to turn it on the final boss, which is probably the worst one to record for a warrior, as you have to shoot it while it's in midair. Also, to combine with this, I don't have any arrows at all, so I'm just stood here with it out, helping. The boss finally comes down, and we get hitting it and we get killing it. It's nice and easy. And it's the last boss in the raid for us. Again, the drops aren't the best. Mail gauntlets, reputation ring, which can't do, and the skill up books. Now the skill up books are actually worth some money, and people do buy these on the auction house. And if not, they're worth 10G directly. So I got 2 books. So after not filming the raid, I forget, I go back to Orgrimmar. Let's have a review of our gear for now. We've had a few upgrades, and I can't remember if I got anything off camera. Here we've got the Eye of Rend, Frostwolf Legionnaire's Pendants, Spoilers of Valor, Black Veil Cape, Black Mist Armbands, Carapace of Anubi Shah, Frostbite and Seraphil, Bloodseeker, of course Edgemaster's Handguards, Brigham Girdle, Eldritch Reinforced Leg Plates, Cragplate Greaves, still trash, Blackstone Ring, Painweaver Band, Signy of the Horde, obviously we've been doing some PvP, Blackhand's Breath, and we're sitting around 20% crit and 3% hit, so we're still pretty low on the hit, so we need to keep looking out for that hit gear. Over the next 4 days I run Battlegrounds. I'm trying to get the PvP gear and the sets I need to get to rank 11. 4 days later I find myself going back to AQ20, and this time I've got footage. From the jungles of Zul'Gurub we head somewhere very different, the scorched sand ruins of Ahn'Qiraj. Ahn'Qiraj 20 is another classic WoW catch-up raid, designed to help players bridge the gap between dungeon gear, CG and the bigger 40-man content. It's shorter, tighter and way more punishing than it looks. Every boss has a gimmick that will absolutely wipe you if you disrespect it. We start things off with Kurinax, a giant sand reaver guarding the entrance. On paper he looks simple, but this fight is more about positioning and debuff management. Kurinax stacks mortal wound, reduces healing and punishes tanks that aren't paying attention. If your healers fall behind early, the fight snowballs. A clean opener, or a quick reminder that AQ20 doesn't mess about. Kurinax unfortunately doesn't drop anything. Well, that's useful for us. Dropping mail gloves, regal drape which we can't use, and the grimoire for immolation. We run forward a few steps and round the corner. And next is General Rajak. This is where AQ20 starts to feel like a war zone. Instead of fighting a single boss, Rajak sends wave after wave of Silithid soldiers to your raid. Crowd control matters here, stuns, fears, interrupts everything. One missed call and suddenly the healers are getting eaten alive. Once the waves are cleared, Rajak himself enters the fight, yelling orders and charging players like an absolute maniac. Wow, thankfully he actually dropped an item I need. Heroic Strike Upgrade. Heroic Strike 9. But we don't normally roll our books till the end of the raid, so we're going to have to wait to find out if we win it. We also drop Revenge, which could be useful, but I'm not going to main roll it obviously as I'm DPS. The rest of the drops, no interest for us. Let's move on. We clear the trash around the corner and head to the dreaded jump. Is anybody going to be a noob this week? It's always so embarrassing. Luckily, I land in the water and I'm fine. The next boss, Buru the Gorger, is an interesting find. It's very different to anything else seen in the game. Buru chases the players relentlessly, while the raid has to kite him over his own eggs, breaking his armour piece by piece. Standard attacks don't really do any damage to him, so this tactic has to be taken. Mess up the movement and someone gets flattened, and if you break the eggs wrong, the room fills with ads. It's awkward, it's chaotic, and it's incredibly classic. The boss speeds up over time, which gets reset with an egg explosion. But we take him down easy. Let's see what he's got. And just like that, he's down. Some cloth boots, handbook of deadly poison, multi-shot 5, and again the regal cape, rep item, which can't do anything with at the moment. Let's move on. The Ruins of Ahn'Qiraj are what remains of an ancient war between Azeroth and the Qiraji insect servants of the old god, Cthulhu. Long ago these creatures were sealed away by the dragonflights, trapped behind massive magical barriers beneath the sands. But the prison weakened, and now the runes stand reopened, crawling with Silithids, ancient constructs and the commanders, still loyal to the forgotten masters. AQ20 isn't just a raid. It's the first crack in a prison that was never meant to open. The Ruins of Ahn'Qiraj didn't open on their own. To break the seal, the entire server had to work together at gathering supplies, completing the war efforts and finally ringing the scarab gong. When the gong was struck, the gates burst open and Qiraji poured in Silithus, launching one of the largest world events in classic WoW. AQ20 represents the first brand to the outer ruins and the warning of what still waits deeper within the sands.
Death is close.
Next up is Malm, massive obsidian construct powered by arcane energy. Malm is all about mana, control and burst windows. He drains mana and then enters his stone phase where he explodes and damages everyone. And during that phase, he summons ads. But as again, we're quite geared here and he's not really an issue. My arm goes down and he drops Battle Shout, which I actually need. But I wasn't able to soft reserve it as I don't have enough SRs and I actually need gear more. As we run our raid a weird way, we don't actually fight Assyrian the Unscarred as the final boss. We fight him as the second to last boss. So we reach Assyrian and we do this little skip tactic. Assyrian starts to fight nearly invincible, empowered by ancient crystals scattered around the room, but we actually get around it. The key mechanic is simple but punishing. Drag him in the correct crystal, strip him of resistance, and then burn him down before the buff fades. Get the wrong crystal, miss for timing, he goes right back to deleting the tanks and laughing at your DPS meter. This fight is about movement, coordination, and execution. Fitting for AQ. And as you can see there, we even still pulled some ads and we managed to pull it off, so it's an easy fight if you know what you're doing. We actually got some great loot. The Manual of Battle Shout again. Hopefully we'll win that later on. After defeating Assyrian, we head round the corner and down the stairs to Iron Miss, the Hunter. Iron Miss is a two-phase fight that mixes range pressure with brutal melee punishment. Phase 1 keeps him airborne, raining poison and targets players below. And of course, I forgot my arrows once again. Once grounded, the fight flips completely. Now the tanks and melee have to deal with heavy damage while the ads spawn around the arena. If your raid loses focuses during the transition, a miss cleans house fast. And there we go, there's our second AQ20 done on this character. No loot this time, and we forgot to record the first time. So it's not been very successful so far. So we didn't win the book that we needed, and we didn't win any items. But we're going to go over to ZG once more. We're going to take a portal to Ahn'Qiraj and head over to ZG. We get onto the Zeppelin on the way to Stranglethorn, and Trippin suggests that we kill Chris. So we summon him in above the rocks, and obviously as the Zeppelin's moving, he'll get summoned in midair and land on the ground. So we delay the summon a little bit, and let's see exactly how this plays out. As you can see from that clip, that was hilarious and Chris never expected it. Stuff like that is what keeps this game alive. Raids are easy, but it's all about the people you play with and the stuff you get up to and the rubbish and the nonsense. Just like real life, just having a laugh with the boys. And this so good was just a laugh with the boys. I literally got zero loot. I've just looked through it all. Nothing in there. So, I'm not going to show you a full Zul'Gurub again. I'll show you the end. And there's the loot from the last boss. But we've got one more place to go before we finish this episode. And as we close out the episode, we head back to a very familiar place, Alterac Valley. After weeks of queues, graveyard runs and watching people ride past objectives, I've finally hit Exalted with the Frostwolf clan. I run straight towards the Horde. Alterac Valley Battlemaster know exactly why I'm here. Exalted means access to one of the best PvP rings in the game, Don Julio's band. 11 stamina, 1% crit, 1% hit and 16 attack power. Absolutely massive. A clean pickup and a solid upgrade. Another small one, but an important step on the journey. And as if it was meant to be, I finally pick up some arrows for the bow, which will allow me to shoot the boss next time in AQ20. So equip the Don Julio and the arrows, and let's check out where our gear is at the end of this episode. And there we are, 5% hit, 20% crit, 2 epics, decent trinkets, we're getting there. So if you like the episode guys, subscribe, because we've not got many episodes left on Scrubbed Stud as TBC's coming soon. So give it a like and subscribe, and cheers guys, see you next time.